So back again with another incredible author talk, and again it's Andrew Johnston who's joined us. He's got some exciting news to share about his new book, which is coming out this December, and he's got some other good things happening in his little writing world. So Andrew, welcome back.
Hi, it's good to be back.
'Cause, so let's jump straight in. The Scorched Hunter. We teased the cover last time, but let's get into this one. Tell us about this incredible new book you've got coming out.
Well, it is according to word count and how it's printed, it's the thickest of all of the books that I have out. It's 300 and let's see here, 388 pages. So I'm getting closer to those monster level size ones. Not quite um, Sanderson, but I don't really intend to have ones where I can literally build whole houses with. But that one comes out December 5th. It's available for pre-order on Amazon and the Barnes& and Noble website and other places. It's about a woman scarred by dragon fire seeking self-acceptance and the downfall of a dictatorship. It has shape-shifting elemental magic, a brand new set of magical creatures. Some of the magical creatures can fly as fast as F-15 fighter jets, and it is the second standalone in the Iron Frost universe.
Yeah. And how would you go tackling that you know, a strong female lead dealing with that sort of burden of being scarred and finding acceptance? Was that tough to tackle in a writing sense?
Uh, Not so much because we all are looking to accept ourselves first before we have others do the same and everything. She learns along the way, that sort of lesson, not to give too much away and everything. And not everybody, but a lot of people have friends to help them learn that. And ultimately, the biggest theme from this book is deeds are more important than appearance, which is something the world still struggles with today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was pretty easy.
Unfortunately, so
Hmm.
yeah. But and then is she so she finds her community? Is that sort of one of the help that helps her overcome?
Well, she has friends and everything, and there's a bit of a love subplot with one of them, but it's kind of a thing where I've always been told that you're born to die, and that at the end of the day you have to look yourself in the mirror. So that's something that she has to figure out a way to do is to look into that hypothetical mirror and say that she's worthy,
Yeah.
of herself.
And so what aside from the war, let's go. How does she get burnt by a dragon? Like what sort of kicks that off?
Well, she wants to impress. At the time she's a young teenage woman. She wants to impress the fellows around her, and that goes south. She you know thinks that hey, if I buy a dragon, then they're gonna love me. If I ride this dragon, they're gonna think I'm pretty cool, and she learns the hard way.
Yeah. And so how to tackle the scarring and that like that writing that scene of that sort of devastation and thing because that a good writer can really drag you into that emotion and that place of
Mm.
pain and suffering. How did you go bringing that to the page?
Well, it's more of a distant memory whenever you read about it and everything because we start the story 5 years after it happened, but there's of course reference back to it from time to time and everything, and she's just constantly ashamed of it until she discovers otherwise. But overall, like I said, the message is that appearances aren't important, deeds are important, and she copes with the whole fact that it happened to her, and that's the reason why she doesn't want to enter politics. That's the reason why she doesn't want to leave the woods. That's why she wants to stick with her buddy Cole, who's a storm bison that can create storm clouds from his nostrils, and those clouds make rain. And if it's cold enough, there's snow and sleet. Um, but it's a adventure of coming more than anything else. I mean, yes, there's a big enemy to beat, but sometimes the biggest enemy is yourself.
Yeah. So going back to that big enemy, without giving us too much away, because we want to entice watchers to actually read the book. But
Mm-hmm.
what's the enemy? What's that other challenge that she has to overcome that draws her out?
Basically, like many politicians in the world, they want unlimited power. They don't want to let go of it. And this guy knows that his term limits are up, and he has to figure out a way to keep that going.
Yeah. Sounds a little bit like world
Very
politics at the
familiar.
moment.
It's the yeah, oh yeah.
Was that a
So I
deliberate thing,
made
or
made
was that something you discovered as you were writing?
it's deliberate.
Yeah,
In general, I'm not really a big fan of politicians to begin with. So, you know, one of those necessary evils.
which yeah, try to walk into my day job. My regular job is often
Mhm.
dealing with politicians, and I just shake my head.
Mhm.
That's I went to a good event the other night. It was a celebration of 40 years of our ethnic council, and then they roll out all the politicians. Like I was like, I understand it's part of the game, but
Mhm.
we need them. Do we need them? That's
Yeah,
why I love sort of
exactly.
stories like yours that
Mhm.
um are confronting that sort of power struggle and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think if you started paying politicians what would be the minimum wage across the world for workers, then they would be a little less likely to take on the job for financial means and power means. They do it more out of the kindness of their heart to make a difference. But when you're paying them enough money to get haircuts that are $1,500 or more, you know, which is like if you're paying that kind of money for a haircut, then you must be getting more than a haircut. So, you know.
Yeah. So talk a bit more about the magical creatures in your world because you got some really unique sort of creatures. Yeah, our
Mhm.
thing from last time was your creatures and that. I loved hearing about them.
Absolutely. Well, I did mention the storm bison, and they're one of the oldest creatures in the world that you'll read about. And like I said, they create storms from their nostrils, and according to the temperature outside, it just changes with that. And then there are other creatures like a cobra swift that can fly like an F-15 fighter and has angelic wings, and you have to basically the only way you can really ride them is in like sort of a saddle dome sort of thing where you climb in there and then you use its kind of long whiskers to pilot it, so to speak. And then there's chief foxes, which I it's a combination of a cheetah and a fox, and I kind of got the inspiration from Robin Hood Men in Tights, because it says in one part of the movie, it says let's fox them, and they send off the fox and it makes a weird little dolphin noise of all noises and everything, but that's a Mel Brooks humor.
Yeah,
And and then that's what I like, what I can think of at the moment. I have to go and read through. I read through the book in a while, but yeah, there's quite a few, and a lot of it is determined by speed, because I like fast moving vehicles and stuff like that.
uh,
Yeah.
so when you set out to make a creature, how do they just come to you? Do you have that sort of like idea before you start writing? Is it or something you discover in the journey of the book and you think I just need this sort of thing there, so I'll just make it up and plant it in? Or Well, how does that
It's a
work for your
discovery
writing?
along the way sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's a discovery along the way. Um, a lot of the creatures like the cobra swift and everything, I wanted something that was a little bit more unique to the what are called the Ruto, which are a part of this world that are the ones that wield the elemental magic, and they have creatures that are a bit more um, commonplace in their culture than the humans' culture. And I went by that quite a bit. And there's also what they're called Nelka, which are kind of like a colorful sort of saber-toothed tiger that are sacred to the Ruto, and they're about the size of a carriage that you'd ride in with horse and everything, and stuff like that. Like I said, I mentioned the chief foxes and everything, and those are more like a postal service sort of animal than anything else. You can't really ride them unless you're a little kid, and as fast as they move, I wouldn't want to ride them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, nice. So, how long has it taken you to write this novel up? I'm always fascinated to hear about, the actual writing process and stuff for different writers. I've got friends that are just prolific. That
mm,
Brendan Sanderson, you mentioned him, that the amount he writes is, and
mm,
then for some of us, it's dragging teeth. Every word's a fight, and yeah.
mm.
So, what are you?
Well, with the Scorched Hunter, um, it was the thing is, it technically came after the Ignited Moon, and both those were an off and on sort of project for nearly a decade until I finally summoned up the courage to uh, self-publish and everything. And I don't really have a time scale for it, but I can tell you right now at this point, um, the Scorched Hunter used to be called Prim Noir. It had a different beginning. There were different things about it, and so I decided to make some modifications and changes and everything. Um, and now it's in the form it's at, because it actually was with a I would call an indie publisher. They claimed they were traditional, but they weren't actually traditional. And long story short, I had to get out of there as quick as I could. So now I have the Scorched Hunter, and I had it made officially ready, at least for sale uh, during the summer that we just experienced and everything. So I made the final touches and
Yeah,
so forth. So like I said, it's available December 5th and available for pre-order. But yeah, it took a while. I would say combined with the other book and everything, roughly 10 years because there was just interruptions and other projects and other things. So I can't do the math to put that all together.
yeah. I think, as budding writers, and yeah, people don't sort of understand the level of work and how much commitment and certain projects can take and things like that. And
Mm. Oh,
if
yeah.
you committed and you want to do it, like you eventually can get
Hmm.
there, but the you just got
Hmm.
to keep pushing it. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So
I
when
agree.
your two books are standalone but the same world, does that help to to create that world
E
or
yeah, it does. Because with these books, The Scorched Hunter and The Ignited Moon, making them standalones, they are more accessible and everything. There's no need to be like, okay, backtracking and so forth. You want to read both because they're both existing on the same timeline and in the same world. Um, but it's easier to concentrate that way. You're not saying, well, I need to remember this from over here to put over here, and this
yeah,
person's still alive over here, and they need to be alive over here. Um, that's why, the third Iron Frost book, which I might actually not make it the final one. I might make more. It just really all depends on how I feel. Will be almost like a team up sort of thing. Not quite Avengers, but at least you'll see characters from both the Ignited Moon and from the Scorched Hunter meeting up with one another, and that will be a story about a aging bodyguard going blind while trying to undermine the evils of the fastest woman alive.
Yeah. But you talked a little bit about that last time, but I think this is yeah the most revealing you. Um,
Mhm.
Even how's the writing process going on that one?
Well, that one's on a pause because I need to get myself out of the headspace of characters that I've been with for roughly 11 years because, you can only spend time with the same people for so long uh, until it just gets flat out annoying. Um, that's why some people retire and all that. They're like, I can't, I've been here 40 years and all that, and the same weirdos and everything. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
That's not the only reason they get out, but hey, can't work forever. Um, but no, yeah, right now I'm working on my grimdark fantasy called "You Killed My Dragon," about a one-legged farmer, a telepathic chef, and a sort of nerdy, fresh out of training soldier trying to undermine a tyrannical government and stop a famine. It's a combination of the Terminator and John Wick. And right now, I'm nearly 30,000 words into that. And at this point, I'm on a little bit of a writer's retreat. So I'm trying to work on that to see if I can get up to 40,000 words. But I've changed my writing process so that I'm not like, adding a whole bunch in at once.
How's that helping you with the writing process?
Much better, much better,
Yeah.
and everything. I can get down the basics and everything, and worry about how certain things happen later. Like right now I have characters, trying to leave town, and I'm not so much worried about how they, commandeered winter clothing because the overarching villain is the weather, because it hasn't been cold in that world for 70 years. Um, So I'm not worried about that so much as I'm worried about the emotional part of it and the story part of it. So I've changed how I do my writing.
I think that's a good point. I know when I first started writing, um, my job allowed me to write a certain way, and sort of, when you first start writing and you're not really sure what you're doing. I don't know if you felt that, but I
Mm,
certainly felt that, and so I was just, little words here and then little words there, and then
mm.
sort of my job settled down, and then I knew like I could write at night, and then my job changed, so then I had to write in the morning, and then so you have to be adaptable to be a writer,
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah, if you want it bad enough, you got to do it and everything. Nothing is worth doing if you don't try to do it right. When I started writing, I wrote whenever I could. I didn't know quite what I was doing, and I was borrowing a lot of knowledge from when I graduated high school, and now through looking at how others write and how they use commas and everything, and developing my own set of characters and worlds and everything, I made it to where I'm at. I mean, right now, I mean, I think I don't know if it's the holidays or what it is, but things are kind of slow down a bit. But I am now at over 1,000 sales by about three, and that's pretty cool. And I've only been self-publishing for the Friday we just had, the October 3rd, was a year. So things turned out. Um, and I do plan on trying to traditional publish at some point
yeah,
if they'll have me.
yeah. There's how do you go, in America, Australia fantasy? We read it, we enjoy it, and we used to have some. We actually still do. We have some amazing fantasy writers, but the industry basically dried up sort of mid 90s, I think, and so then anyone Australian wanting to do fantasy seemed to go overseas to get published.
Mm,
And now that's starting to trickle back in a little bit. But in America, it's a beast. You've got
mm.
incredible fantasy writers
Oh yeah.
and things. So how do you go in that market trying to find um, land a major publishing deal? How is?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with luck. I don't have, I mean, obviously, I don't have a publisher yet. Or an agent. Like I said, I came close at one point, but that was all baloney. Um, but yeah, you get your manuscript as polished as possible. You do your research on literary agents, and you cross your fingers and be as patient as possible to get an agent, and then you go from there. And it's a much longer process than self-publishing. Self-publishing, you can do things quicker, but it's all on you to figure it out. And with traditional publishing, you have a lot more support, and depending upon circumstances, you might have a marketing team or you're marketing all by yourself. I mean, I've heard this and I've heard that. I mean, a straight answer is not commonplace in my opinion because one moment they're saying you're promoting all yourself, and the next minute they're saying you're not. But I think honestly, it depends on advances and other circumstances and everything. Who knows? Either that or I'll just stick to indie and everything because I like having that that control.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, fantasy is a bit more prominent uh, these days, and I hope don't see it going anywhere in the negative zone and everything. There's plenty of fresh ideas. I try to stay out of the what you typically see and go a bit beyond. Like my Grimdark's gonna have not like a traditional medieval sort of thing going, and with the Scorched Hunter, I did a little bit of a medieval sort of thing, but also I wanted to throw in like one of those American westerns, which didn't quite work out. So I just ended up with a character that's basically Clint Eastwood with more of a smart aleck attitude than an actual man with no name or anything like that. Like the bison in the book, the storm bison are kind of the more Western cowboyish animals in there. Um, and that's about it for the most part. But I always shoot for something that's as out of the box as possible. I don't like the whole chosen one thing. I don't do love triangles or anything. So I stick to something that's understandable and surprising.
yeah. See, I think I love it when people like challenge or create something different and that you never read before. I mean, that's what we're always seeking, that
Mm-hmm.
next book that you've never read before and something different. But I think that with the tropes, the traditional tropes, as long as you're doing them with a new flair and in your voice and your way,
Mm-hmm.
they can still have their certainly have their place. But yeah, you want to
Mm-hmm.
be able to grab that different idea and that like you said, something no one's ever seen before or
Mm-hmm.
read before.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah,
but
yeah. The
yeah, no,
settings are usually about the same in most
yeah,
places, unless you go beyond Europe and Vikings and England and everything.
yeah. I'm trying to branch on my personal reading, which I'm not reading a lot at the moment. So my personal book buying would say is just life is very much in the way from reading. But yeah, trying to
Mm-hmm.
get into I know some we're getting a little bit more of an Asian feel into fantasy now lately with different
Mm-hmm.
writers. And I'm trying to add those and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Middle East I'm trying to add that different voice to just inspire me to create different worlds and expand on my own reading for a start, and
Mm-hmm.
then hopefully that transfers into improved writing, improved ideas, and things like that.
Right.
But
Oh
I
yeah,
think
I just bought the Jade City by Fonda Lee. So I want to give that a shot because I keep seeing it on Book Talk and other places, and I'm like, I'm gonna give it a shot. And so I bought it, and I didn't buy the original cover version. I bought like I don't want to call it deluxe, but just a different edition and everything because I always like to look at the uh, not original covers. So
yeah,
I'm gonna give that a shot, and I experiment around as far as fantasy is concerned, but also I go beyond fantasy. Like I just bought a Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, Um, because I do already own a copy, but it's like from 1940 something, and I feel like if I open it up, it's just gonna go. So,
Yeah.
it's got like an old postage stamp marking a page or whatever it is from whoever read it last. I'm like, I don't want to open this up. I feel like it's just gonna turn to dust.
Yeah. That's another thing I think as writers, you should read across genres. You should read
Oh yeah.
different things. Absolutely. Because it just,
Hmm.
yes, we should, as fantasy writers, we should be reading fantasy to understand what's
Hmm.
going works well in fantasy, but then to, something completely different, then expands your mind, expands your thoughts on anything
Hmm.
you create writing, you know.
Hmm.
So
Absolutely.
let's, yeah, yeah.
Hmm. So
So
no,
let's
no,
get
no.
back to,
I don't have. Yeah, let's get back to the books and everything like that. Yeah, and everything. Yeah, it's like there's these long pauses and everything like that. We're all kind of half awake and everything. Like I actually I fell asleep early last night, and then I woke up at 1 in the morning, and I got up and started reading, and then I fell back to sleep and so on. And also the important thing too is whenever you're reading and you want to becoming a stronger writer, that though you want to revisit those books that you've already read about 3 or 4 times, you do need to give others a chance, especially authors like myself and so forth. Indie wise. That you don't see on the shelves very often. Like when I went and bought the um, Brave New World yesterday and the Jade City. They're literally for, I guess, for October. There's an entire table of Stephen King, and I'm like, Jiminy Christmas! It's all hanging off the edge. He's got a lot. I didn't realize how many he has. So yeah, you want to branch out into authors that don't get that huge table, or you don't see a whole heck of a lot of. Um, Speaking of, which with my writing, it's pronounced Sphinx, but it's for indie, like an indie novella sort of contest. I entered it a little while ago, and right now I am in the top 20 as far as authors who are continuing. And in December, I'll find out whether I make it to round three. But it's already part of the contest is you get reviewed, and I got a review and everything like that from one of the judges, and it was a very nice review. And I said something that I didn't realize I had put in the book. It was something in reference to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or the Misfit Toys. I'm like, I don't remember including a reference to that, but that might be a good selling point and everything if you're into the old kind of claymation sort of thing, unless it's a different sort of thing altogether. I read books more than I watch television these days, so I have no idea what's going on.
yeah. So with the Sphinx competition, so it's judge panel, like or is it a
From what it looks
voting
like,
thing?
they have two reader slash reviewer slash judges um, per set of books and everything, and they're reading 20 books each.
Yeah,
And so or mine's amongst those and everything. I don't fully have all the information, but I have been looking forward to entering it because every time there's an opportunity, my novella is either released in the wrong time or not quite right or whatever it is. So I happen to have had the Discarded Night, which is the book in competition right now. Um, it's just it was the right time to enter, and so I'm just crossing my fingers and digging out the rabbit's foot and the four-leaf clover to have all the luck possible to make it to the next round.
yeah, nice. Well, fingers crossed. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully you get there and get
Mm,
some recognition, and then
absolutely.
say you make that next round. What goes? Do they do a bit of promoting for you? What?
Like I have to do a little bit more research and everything because this is all brand new to me, and we'll see what happens. I also have it have the same book in another contest, which I'll have to double check on. Um, but I'm just trying to get my name out there in as many places as possible. Obviously, I want to try and plug the other books and everything, but the Discarded Night is the one that hits home for most people and has the most reviews and has the most attention and everything. Uh,
Yeah.
Also, and it's local at a comic book store called SCG Hobby. I'll be doing a book signing on November 1st on a Saturday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And I've been going to that comic book store for roughly a little over a decade and everything. And it's just going to be a great opportunity to get out there and show people that, hey, there's a local author in southwestern Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. My advice for that one, when I've gone to with Clunes is the big one where I go to here, and it's a mixed bag, but you get some trad publishers and the big guest, and then all the indies, and
Mhm.
then just secondhand books. Is get on your feet
Mhm.
and engage. Get on your feet and engage.
Mhm.
People, the authors that just sort of sit back and waiting for people to come up to them.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't see them doing so well. But if you're up on your feet, you're talking to people, and hey, how you going as they're
Oh,
walking past? That's although is this a specific event for you, or is it you part of a
it's me specifically. There
yeah
are no other authors and everything. I mean, the only other thing that's happening is I think maybe a pre-release for Magic the Gathering or Pokemon. I would have to double check on that. I seem to be a little bit misinformed these days and all that, but it's kind of like, I'm on this writing retreat and I'm not, the only thing I'm paying attention to is the writing and reading and stuff like that I'm doing in my own time. But yeah, no, there's probably like a pre-release for Pokemon or something like that that day, but it's specifically for myself. And the owners have stores all throughout the county, and were kind enough to say yes. And it's a big pick-me-up. Um, you know.
absolutely. That's brilliant. I really hope you do well and
Mhm.
you know one of the things like this you might catch magic, and if you don't, chalk it up as practice and go again. That's how you got to
Well,
tackle this stuff.
I intend to catch lightning in a bottle again if I
Yeah,
can, like I did back in May. Back in May, I caught lightning in a bottle, and I that's how I made it up to where I am sales wise and everything. So I'm going to be putting flyers everywhere possible. Hey, last time I put the flyers at tobacco shops and beer distributors and little dollar stores and everything. So I went everywhere possible. I mean, short of attaching it to a dog's dog house and everything, I went everywhere.
yeah, that's fantastic, fantastic. And what was that comic book store again?
It's called SCG Hobby,
Yeah,
Latrobe. Game they do games and comic books and trading cards, and they have sports cards, and it's been around for quite some time. As far as if you're in the Latrobe, Pennsylvania area, or just in Westmoreland County, it's in this Latrobe 30 Plaza, near across from the Planet Fitness and the Mexican restaurant Don Patron's, and it's a great little store.
yeah, brilliant. Another one of my upcoming author talks is from Pennsylvania too. So yeah, small
Oh,
world, but I
cool.
don't think he's in your world, your part. Yeah. Pittsburgh is
Oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, Pittsburgh is roughly 45 minutes to an hour away from where I live.
Oh,
You
nice.
know,
Yeah,
so
I think
yeah.
that's where he's in. But yeah, no. So yeah, hopefully, so well, other people are watching this channel in your neck of the woods. So hopefully they'll hear about where you're going to be on
Mhm.
1st of November.
Yep, November 1st on Saturday from
Cool.
1 p.m. to 3 p.m. I will have copies of the Discarded Night and the Ignited Moon, and you can pay either in cash or in Venmo. And I will be promoting the Scorched Hunter, and I'll be going from there. I'll even have a little map of the Iron Frost universe there, so you can see where things are placed. And I'll be near the gaming board section where people play Pokemon and Magic the Gathering. So, and near the display cases, basically.
Yeah, very cool. That's yeah. So everyone. out there that's in the Pennsylvania, US sort of zone, come check him out. Come check out his books. Support an indie writer. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So so what else is coming up? So you're on a writers retreat at the moment. How's that
Mhm.
working out? You putting good numbers
Oh
in,
yeah,
or
I'm putting numbers in. It's going pretty well. You know, right now it's these more kind of critical emotional scenes of accepting the fact that there's so much pressure ahead, and I actually will be playing sort of a kind of, I want to call it not a theft, but a necessary stealing of an item uh, scene that kind of without it, somebody's going to be not walking around, hopping around on one leg, so they kind of need that other leg, spoiler alert. But yeah, there'll be that, and I'll have to figure out how to rekindle a friendship. I'll have to figure out how to do whole bunch of things. But like I said, it's all part of the new writing technique to where I'm doing bare bones first, and then adding all the explosions and fascinating little things later on.
yeah, yeah, that's right. When we go back to that the new writing technique, what inspired you to change up your the way you were writing?
Well, I saw that I was throwing too much at the wall at once, and I've had people who have said that, maybe you need to simplify things a bit. So I wanted to, you know, do something where the pacing was good and the details were immersive, while at the same time not making things overwhelming and almost like swimming in the deep end of a public pool, metaphorically speaking. So I wanted to start out with, um, basics like, plot, characters, character development, and everything. And then later on, once I hit maybe about 50,000 words, 40,000 words, and so forth, I'll go backtrack and I'll add a bit more detail to clothing and the atmosphere, climate, and everything. And so forth because uh, I wanted this book to be not just dark and brutal and with a pinch of hope, but also digestible for the reader um, and everything.
Yeah, nice. Well, yeah, good luck. Good luck with the retreat. Hopefully, yeah, I think
Mhm.
that's something I need to book myself in and get back. Although I'm editing now, editing is a different beast, as
Oh
you
yeah,
well know.
it's definitely a different beast. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it takes quite a long time, and it feels like you're just going over the same stuff over and over again, and you'd like to move forward.
yeah. And but yeah, I think I need something to shake me up and get me. Because I've definitely been in a little funk with my own writing, but
Hmm.
that's my burden. I'll sort that out and continue. But
Hmm.
yeah. So what else is happening in your world? What else are we looking forward to before, I don't know, we sign off on this?
Well, I'm gonna have to start looking for a another audiobook narrator for the Discarded Knight. I did have one, but it didn't quite pan out accordingly. Audiobooks are something that I really want to get into because it's makes reading more accessible. And hey, if you want to, hear from your favorite author while on the road, that's always a good thing. And I just got to dive a bit more into that. And we'll go from there. Other than that, there really isn't a whole lot going on other than the book signing and looking for another audiobook narrator and working on the Grimdark. The next Iron Frost Universe book to come out after the Scorched Hunter that will begin um, work on that again closer to 2027. It's actually already written. I just have to change up some things and change the ending. It's at least 97,000 words. Uh, because I started writing it quite some time ago, but I found that I wasn't satisfied with what the villain was doing or what the heroes were dealing with, and the emotional stakes. So I needed to make a change.
Oh, nice. So say not much, but you've got so many good things happening.
Oh yeah,
A lot
oh
of
yeah,
work
oh yeah,
going on.
oh yeah. Also, I have a novella that I started working on that is going to be a sort of a supernatural horror sort of book about a groundskeeper defending the souls of the graveyard he mows the lawn of, and also he's defending it against a greedy landowner. And it's going to be set in like 1970s Latrobe, Pennsylvania, and so far, all I've got is that his bed alarm is not a bed alarm; it's a rooster, and it annoys the neighbors, but they don't complain about being late for work. So that's all I have on that so far, and that'll be a
Oh,
novella.
oh. It's yeah, always good to have different ideas bubbling and working around,
Hmm.
isn't it? Especially, I think
Absolutely.
if you got multi sort of projects, I mean, you should always be
Hmm.
finishing. I know some people would just dance and bounce around and never seem to finish anything, but
Hmm.
if you do get into funks
Right.
and that, to mix it up with
Hmm.
something else can always
Oh, for sure.
keep writing fresh and moving
Oh,
forward.
yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. I mean, my main mission is not is just straight up writing novels and everything. That's what I got into this whole journey in the first place and everything. Because I like reading much more than anything else.
yeah. I think yeah, that's where most of us begin. I have heard
Hmm.
people that want to be writers or but don't read, and it's like, how do you be a writer and not read? Like that's
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And
It
what
shows
are you writing?
in my opinion, it shows an emptiness.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
neither here nor there for us. It's,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. No. It's
just
like how do you know what not to do and what to do? How do you develop your ideas and everything? And how do you flesh out your characters and have emotion and pull the reader in with every sentence and page if you're not reading within your genre and outside of your genre? Um, I can't imagine being an author and not reading from others and everything. Plus, I do have the grand old mission of having thousands of books before I reach the age of 80. So, you know,
that's yeah. Good luck with that.
yeah. Oh, I'm not far off. Most of it's trade paperbacks and all that with Batman, Spider-Man, and Daredevil, but I'll get there on other regular novels and everything. You know, plus I do a lot of stuff. Books that I have are just kind of more of a collection sort of thing where I have to have it. It's a classic. I'll probably never be fully able to digest it, but I'm gonna have it on the shelf anyway.
Yeah, but the Dostoevsky's that kind of classic. Is that what
Well,
you're talking about?
exactly. Yeah, Crime and Punishment, Dostoevsky. Because I started reading it and reading and reading. This is really interesting and everything, but I really couldn't finish it for whatever reason. And the only Charles Dickens book that I can fully digest and that try to read every year is a Christmas Carol because I tried reading Oliver Twist, couldn't understand a lot of how things were worded, and then I just kept feeling terrible for that kid. I'm like, I'm sorry. I want to call social services. I want to, call the cops on this book and everything because this kid is just in bad shape.
Yeah,
You know?
but yeah, I've never delved. I've collected a few classics myself. I've never really delved. I've tried audio booking because, like yourself, I
Mm-hmm.
love audiobooks. I think they're brilliant. I think they're a good way to connect with books I might not necessarily read, even though I do read cross
Hmm.
genres. But there's certain books you just wouldn't
Hmm.
read, but they're okay to listen to.
Right,
And it's a great way to connect with books I read years ago. Like
right.
with my book reviews that I've been posting up. Like I
Hmm.
read the Terry Pratchett books so many years ago,
Hmm.
listening to them and then doing book reviews for my
Right,
channel. So, but yeah,
right.
the classics are not ones that I've listened to a couple, but
Hmm.
they are a hard read if
They
you're
are radio.
yeah. But
Oh, yeah.
they're a classic for a reason.
Exactly. Yeah, they are for a reason. That's why it's like if I'm going to read something older than 20 years, it's going to be like from maybe the 40s and the 50s, and like 1984, or Lord of the Rings, which I'm on my official fifth read of Lord of the Rings, because I kind of stopped and started, and everything, and got distracted. Now I'm almost done with Fellowship again, and I'm gonna just put aside the other books that I'm reading to finish up that trilogy, because I'm also trying to read some nonfiction as well, like A People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn, which I'm reading that mostly because of the fact that I heard about it in Good Will Hunting, and it's very informative.
Okay. Yeah. So? Do you often do nonfiction and that?
I for so long I wasn't a nonfiction guy, but when I started out being serious about reading and everything, before I even started writing, I was reading a lot of nonfiction, political books and everything. But I want to dive deeper into history, specifically the 20th century, World War One and World War Two. And maybe even going further back into the Napoleonic Wars. So I want to get back into that, because I used to be a real big history buff, and now it's kind of like, it's fizzled out, and I need to rekindle that spark.
Yeah, no. I thought, yeah, I do dabble in a little bit of history and AFL books. I'm an AFL Aussie rules football, that what we have over here. I'm unfortunately a Aussie rules tragic, which people seem a bit surprised because they see me as bookish, but yeah. So I read, and that's my nonfiction is those, and a
Hmm.
little dabble in history, and the
Hmm.
occasional something a little bit different that'll sort of appeal to me. But yeah.
Hmm. Absolutely. So,
All right. So is
all
anything
right.
else you want to share before we sign off, or
I can't think of anything else to share at the moment. The news has been spread and everything, and I'm glad to chat with you again, because it's always good to reach out across the world and see how people are doing.
yeah, and we got the time line organized a lot easier this time, which made it good. Although, yeah, your morning, my night, and today
Hmm.
being Saturday. Um, Normally, I play dad's soccer with a group of friends, and it's normally Sundays, but today we decided to do it because tomorrow is going to be very hot. We're in spring at the moment, and we've gone
Hmm.
from nice, coolish, sort of sunny day, spring weather, to tomorrow, bang, up to 30 plus degrees, which I
Hmm.
don't know how that transfers
Well,
into
let's say
your.
we're right now we're still lingering on the fringe of summer, even though technically we're in autumn. So it hasn't really gotten cold yet. But we'll see what happens. Either way, I don't really go outside much and everything. I'm more of I stay in my so-called fortress of solitude, regardless of the weather.
Yeah. Oh, I used to be like that, but now yeah, got some good friends, and I'm being a little bit more social, and they're running around after a bunch of kids playing soccer is good for me, but it's exhausting. I am like ready for it. So
Oh yeah,
before
for
you
sure.
go, tell us again where do we find your books? How do we get them? I know you're on Amazon and Barnes and Noble,
Yep.
but
Yep, you can find on the Amazon and Barnes and Noble website, and I'm sure you could probably go on. I think it's called Kobo, and I mean, this book right here, if it's still on there, it was on eBay, and I think I might have said in the previous interview that somehow before the book even came out, the Ignited Moon ended up on eBay from the UK and Australia, and I'm like thinking to myself, how did these guys get the paperback version or even a version of this book, and it's not out yet? Because I had that book signing, and not a single person had a UK accent or an Australian accent, unless they were like secretly whatever it is. I don't know. People have their ways and everything, but I can tell you is they were offering, not offering, they were charging triple what I would charge for a book.
Yeah,
in those two places and everything. I'm like, okay, well, hey, if someone's willing to buy it, have at it.
yeah,
You know.
absolutely. And don't forget to check you out, everyone to check out Andrew at the comic book shop on the 1st of November, Saturday the 1st of November from 1 to
Mhm.
3.
Yeah,
And
from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at SCG Hobby,
the CG Hobby, that's the one. And yeah, check out his books, pre-order The Scorched
the
Hunter.
Scorched Hunter.
So, and of course, check out the other ones if you haven't already. Thank you, Andrew, for joining me again
Thank you very much.
and thank you everybody for watching and listening. Happy reading. Subscribe and follow for more.